room. Yes, you're in the new Providence, where niggas get to snapping like they got no common sense. When we approach with confidence, revoking confidence. His offense live enough to throw the hardest to the fence. The raw is what he is, you can't stop it like jail runs. And ain't no time for him, he's opposite of well done. Rare without care, put clocks on the line. Comfortable with my flow, it's like I got Crocs on my rhymes. No, rocket science, fuck the...
That's how I feel like you should just come in, just getting that hot fire, man. I might as well just come in like that, because that's what we about to do, man, is drop y'all with some hot fire. I'm VO the Face. This is F4, 50% fuss, 50% fantasy football, but 100% facts. And I'm up with these no-gooders. These no-gooders, as John Gruden would call them. Some no-gooders. We gonna get it popping, man. We about to introduce these guys, I guess, without further ado. I'm here with Jay Reese, the gambler.
F4. Hey, yo, man, I just want to say we got it all rolling right now. The baseball playoffs. NHL just started. F4 is in the building. College football. And, oh, yes, the bucket list. We are coming back.
Man, basketball just started up. Jay Reeves, me and Jay Reeves is saying, man, it's like football's wifey, you know what I'm saying? But basketball's a side chick. And today's just that uncomfortable time where we got them both in town at the same time, man. So
it's going to get crazy.
To juggle them, you know what I'm saying? So without further ado, we'll go ahead and pass it to our accountant. Silly C, what's the best way to juggle our side chick and main chick?
It's your boy.
That was a sloppy introduction. You know what I mean? What's up, Silly C, with the numbers? He's like, what would I know?
It's your boy. Listen, yeah.
He's like, I'm ill prepared with any type of information like that for you. Without further ado, man. Yeah, you know how we like to start off every week, man. We're going to tell you about the bets we missed out on last week. Bets or fantasy player in a segment we call A Day Late and a Dollar Short. Man, not a day late, not a dollar short. I'm going to go ahead and kick this one off straight off, man. I had a really good week with my fantasy teams, even though I know nobody cares. Went 4-0, and I know nobody cares. But the only reason they spell Silly C with 2 L's is because I gave them to him this week. Ain't that right, Silly? Oh, hey, big man. Oh, he knew him camera. So I wasn't a day late and a dollar short on any of my fantasy leagues this week. However, man, I think it was about 3 weeks late and 3 wins short on my Broncos, man. Jay Reed said last week that if we didn't hold up to what we were supposed to do, that we need to fire Fig Fangio. We haven't fired him yet, but with the Broncos with a Thursday night game, hopefully we could get the job done by Friday, man. So we hoping to get that popping, man. And, you know, it's just really unfortunate. We went from 3-0, smelling ourselves, running around with the top down, you know what I'm saying, the hair blowing in the wind. And then with just reality hits you, man. Reality hits you a lot tougher, man. You see Bridgewater might be a little bit closer to mediocre, and that my Broncos might be a little bit closer to garbage, may I dare, but it's okay, because if history has shown you nothing, Von Miller's Halloween parties where we turn it around every year. Shout out to Emmanuel Sanders dressed up like Tyrone Biggums and Chad Kelly breaking into people's houses, Woody from Toy Story. But that's we just a day late and a dollar short as a Bronco community. And you guys are going to hear a lot about my Broncos today because we got the Thursday night football. But first, Jay Reeves, what bets were you a day late and a dollar short on?
As of late, I'm trying to tell you, man, it was continuing the trends of last week, man. Your boy is rolling. I was putting a lot of money down on the Cowgirls, and they covered in overtime. Oh, man, that was so clutch. The Cowgirls is like 5-0, or I want to say 6-0 against the spread, man. So they're out here just rolling, looking real good. But the bet I came up a day late and a dollar short on would have to be the Buffalo Bills, man. And just like you told us last week, Tennessee circled those wagons.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you guys don't have to listen to me. However, if you guys would, it would probably improve your betting life, sex life, and just pretty much anything else other life. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty much an improvement on all that, man. But where'd you fall short on that game? You took them with the line and they just didn't cover it, or
Now, I actually took that Josh Allen prop over 31 and a half rushing yards. And he done it, I want to say, the last 3 out of the last 5 games that he played, and he just fell short on this one. And I almost feel it was because everybody was on that rushing prop.
yeah, man, it just kind of seems like when everybody's in on a bet, Vegas will just push it through and say, "Hey, just go for it now. Don't bring it to overtime. Just try to win it now." And you see what happens with them trying to be greedy, man. So definitely a very interesting game in that Buffalo and Tennessee game. Silly C, what fantasy players were you a day late and a dollar short on?
Man, because they have, a really uniffy quarterback and real bad play, real inconsistent play. Adam Thielen,
Mm.
he put up, or he had 11 receptions for 126 yards and a touchdown. That gave him 32, almost 33 fantasy points. That was beast mode at 5,800 on DraftKings. Definitely fell short on that one.
Yeah, you're
Mm-hmm.
not the only person that lost out. A lot of people took Justin Jefferson over Thielen in this past fall's drafts, man. So I'm sure a lot of people are just sad that they're missing out on Thielen's production, and I am not one of them because I got me a couple shares of Thielen, but I know nobody cares about my fantasy team. But Cody got a taste of him. We'll go ahead and keep it pushing, man, into the Thursday night game. And that is my Denver Broncos traveling to Cleveland to get it popping.
Take my picture, put it in a superstar frame. Yup.
I'm clean when I walk, I'm clean when I talk. I'm pressed to the step. I'm pressed to the depth, and I ain't steady looking at me mad, 'cause I ain't that bad, and I'm on top of my game. And hey, my superstar friend.
What?
What? They hate the superstar frame, man. Thursday night, there is an abundance of storylines heading into this. We got Baker Mayfield's shoulder, the looming trade deadline with Odell Beckham possibly being shipped out of town. We also got an injured Nick Chubb. The Broncos, Vic Fangio's on a hot seat. Teddy Bridgewater might be starting to get a little warm in his seat. Uh, Punchlines are plenty, but Jay Reeves, what is Vegas saying?
Well, we currently got this number sitting at -3 for the Cleveland Browns. Just want to touch on a few things. They got the Denver Broncos sitting on the money line at +146. And the over-under is sitting at 42.5. I want to touch on this over-under a little bit. Denver has fell under the number. The last 4 out of the 6 games that they played, they only went over the last 2 games. So this 42.5 is kind of tricky because Denver is constantly falling under this number, and Cleveland isn't doing that much better. But that +146 with Baker Mayfield laboring a little bit on that shoulder. Odell Beckham also is banged up with the shoulder problem. They have no running backs. The likes of Dearness Johnson and Demetric Felton will be running in the backfield for them. Vic Fangio could possibly get fired this game.
Mm.
I think that it's going to be time for Alexa to shut the hell up. Alexa, turn off. I ain't talking nothing about the game. But anyways, man, I'm going to go ahead and take the Denver Broncos on mine with a big win. A big win in Cleveland. +146. I don't even need those points. I know I got those Lions.
Man, quite the ball bag on that gentleman. Silly C, are you that confident that you would take them on the money line? Who you got in this game?
Man, with Bridgewater's up and down play and our wishy-washy offense right now, very inconsistent. I think we're going to have to see a big game from one of our running backs. But with Baker Mayfield banged up, I'm going to go ahead and say I had an onions too, and I take the Broncos on the money line. The hell with the points,
Mm-hmm.
though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, just because banged up Baker Mayfield, and there got injuries aplenty. There was a big performance this past week by Peoples. What's his name? Jay Reese Peoples Jones.
Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Peoples Jones. You know what I'm saying, man? I don't
King
know if
Buck
he'll be.
Peoples.
I don't know if he'll be able to repeat, but he's not really the style of player that's been burning us this year. In the past 3 games, we've got torched by the likes of Hollywood Brown, Chase Claypool, and then Henry Ruggs. Man, and you could tell that's a very specific style of receiver, deep ball, fast person. Somebody like Odell Beckham could torch us, but with them having hurt quarterback, hurt skill positions, man, I got to take my Broncos in this game. I'm gonna be all in agreement. Silly C, as far as fantasy goes from this game, you want to talk about the top 10 that they have contributing? And Jay Reeves, also, maybe you could tell me you see Peoples Jones repeating his performance this year or this week?
I do not see Peoples-Jones repeating his performance. First off, Baker could barely push the ball downfield. And our secondary, we're pretty solid. I know we've been burnt up a few times, but we are pretty solid. So I do not see Peoples-Jones having a big game like that again against us. No, sir.
Yeah, he was able to do it against the second, third cornerback on the team last week. Just kind of a disappointing game. They're on a three game slide like we are, and we'll go ahead and push it into this fantasy players. And Silly C is going to rank these fantasy players number 10 to 1 and let us know where we can find that Thursday night value. Silly C, get it kicked off.
Yeah, so we'll start with number 10. We got Javonte Williams. I think he's kind of low on this list. I would definitely probably put him higher. I feel he's definitely going to probably have a big game. I definitely get him on your squad if you can.
Yeah, and number 9.
Then we're going into Austin Hooper. I don't know. I don't like him at all in this one,
Mm-mm.
so I'm not going to talk much.
Yeah,
Yep.
numbers 8.
We got Melvin Gordon, the other half piece of the backfield for the Broncos. I like him a little bit too. He got that big play threat, so get him in your lineup. He'll probably be cheap.
Number 7.
We got Tim Patrick.
Timmy!
Right now, we have no receivers, so you know he's going to get tons of work. I'd definitely get him in your lineup.
And number 6.
We got Mr. Bridgewater himself.
Mm.
I don't really trust him too much in this game. We'll have to see. He really needs to bounce back from his last one. Otherwise, he's going to be benched and somebody's going to be fired. I think they might be fired anyway.
Yeah, well, before I pass this top first 5 over to Jay Reeves to unpack, I got some breaking news. Teddy Bridgewater was kind of laboring on his ankle today. Said he had problems like moving the practice from outdoor to indoor. He was limping. He was noticeably limping trying to get up there for the press conference. So he's hurt. And now that he's hurt, here you go. You're welcome. Here's Myles Garrett and Clowney. Jay Reeves, unpack this first 5 that we see.
That does not bode well for Teddy Bridgewater at all. What's going on?
Not at all.
We could see a Drew Lock sighting in for Teddy Bridgewater later on this game. The boy Tim Patrick has been extremely consistent ever since Jerry Judy's went down. He has been collecting between 12 and 14 fantasy points in PPR leagues. I think he's pretty safe there. Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams. This is a real tricky backfield that I am not really too proud to be a part of, because when it comes to fantasy, there's nobody cares about your fantasy team, but when it comes to fantasy, it's kind of hard to decipher who's going to get the rock on a week-to-week basis or who's going to have more production. Actually, they're eating into each other's production. It just needs to be one guy in this backfield. I think that guy needs to be Javonte Williams, so get him in your lineup.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's a selfish reason for you, probably because that's the piece you own of the backfield. But yeah, Javonte Williams, man, he has come with a high energy play the past 3 weeks, from his damn near beast mode run against the Baltimore Ravens to a pretty electric play against the Steelers. And he almost did it again with the hurdle last week against the Raiders. Like, I think we're starting to see why they draft him. And this was about the point in the season where we thought there'd be that transition. Maybe Vic Fangio goes to that transition of the running back now. Maybe he doesn't, but let's go into this top five. Silly C, who's at number 5?
We got Odell Beckham.
Oh, didn't
I
it?
don't have a lot of trust in him. I'd probably pass.
Yeah, that's iffy. Number 4.
We got Noah Fant. I like him a bunch. Again, we'll need him involved for us to have a chance to win this game. So get him in your lineup.
There we go. Number 3.
The Ernest Johnson.
Ugh.
You already know when you got a D in front of your name.
An apostrophe. Anybody
You got that business.
pause.
Oh!
They
Definitely
put
get
an
him in your
apostrophe
lineup.
from in their name. They about that life. Like obviously their parents had no second option. They just said whatever. Let's name him the best. Let's go to number 2.
Number 2, we got Baker Mayfield. Banged
Mm-mm.
up. I think he's a little high on this list. I'd probably pass on him.
Who could be a number 1?
I already know it's that boy Cortland. Take him to Cortland.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cortland Sutton. Obviously, he's going to be targeted a lot in this game. I think his 19, almost 20 projection is a little high, but I do think he has a chance of getting in there if he gets a touchdown. So get him in your lineup.
Yeah, and I guess the thing with any of these Broncos wide receivers' fantasy value is just volume. Like they're getting the 12 to 14 points off of like 2 or 3 receptions and a tud. I think Cortland, Noah, and Tim Patrick all pulled down touchdown balls last week. But it just hasn't been enough with volume. Jay Reeves, unpack this top 5.
Well, Baker Mayfield being completely tied to Odell Beckham doesn't bode well for either one of them with the shoulder injuries. They both have been in the shoulder area. I wouldn't even touch those guys. Cortland Sutton and Noah Fant really been up and down this season. It's either boom or somewhat busty. But they may get the booming in this game. So I would definitely get both of those players in your lineup. They could get real explosive at any moment. The boy, DeErnest Johnson, this is not his first go-around. He actually put in a little bit of work last year and looked pretty good doing it. So DeErnest Johnson may not be a bad play in your flex spot.
Definitely not, man. And the Broncos defense has been suspect to big plays. However, they've been a little bit more solid against the run. I'm just excited to see what happens. I hope we could get back on the winning track. Just some pretty great weekend of fantasy football behind us. And I think we're headed into a great weekend of fantasy football ahead of us. And then we got all the holidays coming up with the Halloween and whatnot.
Yes, sir.
That's why we kept the show a little short today. We kind of doing some reconfiguring.
Hey, yo, hold on. Before we get up out of here, you think your boy didn't have his props to the ops? I got a trifecta of running backs. Y'all just tell me which one is going to be the best on this night. I got Melvin Gordon sitting at 43.5 rushing yards. I got Javonte Williams sitting at 48.5 rushing yards. And they got the boy DeErnest Johnson sitting at 58.5 rushing yards. Matt, who is the props? Who is the ops?
Melvin Gordon. I don't like any of those, man. I think if we win the game, it's going to be behind a healthy dose of running. And since I picked us to win the game, say Javonte Williams is the props. Both of the other two as the ops.
Cody?
I don't know. I like DeErnest Johnson a lot in this game. We've kind of shown that we've had trouble stopping the run. I see right now he's projected for the highest of the 3. And he doesn't split as many carries. So right now I got DeErnest Johnson being the props.
Yeah, man, and I mean I'm moving, so I'm kind of asleep. I'm not a Kareem Hunt owner. I own Chubb, so I knew he was like kind of banged up. And anybody like kind of let me know what's going on with Kareem Hunt? Like, he got hurt.
He's on IR for 4 to 6 weeks. So yeah, he's up out of here.
Damn. Well, I mean, I guess Kareem got hunted, man. I didn't even know that happened. I just kind of living with my blinders on in my own little fantasy world. Jay Reeves, who do you think out of those 3 is the props or the ops?
Just to disagree with you guys, I'm gonna say Melvin Gordon.
You always so cynical, man. You always such a problem starter. And see, that's why I have a problem with you. You wanted to rush me on this props and ops just to make sure that you could disagree with me. Shame on you. Shame on you, man. Well, yeah, like I was saying, man, we're doing some reconfiguring. We're going to be back with some big things, obviously, on Friday with our Thursday night show. But check us out next week. We're reconfiguring, adding segments, doing some trimming, doing just some different work to improve the show for you guys. We're constantly working on that. And, just remember when it's sorry, I almost hit him with the wrong freaking tagline. The F4, baby. 50% facts, 50% fantasy football, and 100% facts. F4, baby. Yeah.